Hello everybody, welcome to the Chensor Dynasty here on twitch.tv/jchensor. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit interesting here. We're going to be doing some match analysis for Dragon, sorry, not Dragon Boy. I see Dragon Mash in the chat and I just said Dragon. Major Boy Lucia using Vskill 2. Vskill 2 is not one that is commonly used by Lucia players. Most people use Vskill 1, and the way that Lucia actually can use Vskill 2 is very interesting, and particularly the way Major Boy uses it. I'm going to show you guys the gist behind Vskill 2, why it works as well as it does, and then from that point we're going to watch some of his matches, and not only are we going to see how he uses Vskill 2 to craft a storyline that he tells to the opponents so that he can take advantage of them, but we're going to write this down because there's something that's very important called key moments in fighting games, and I'll explain this a little bit more, but it'll be very interesting now because you'll start to see the patterns that he starts to generate off of this, and how a game like Street Fighter V, which is rife with the Street Fighter RPS, which is the throw, attack, shimmy, mix-up, and how Major Boy turns those situations, which are virtual RPSs, into situations that are advantageous for him by telling a story in a specific way. Oh, hey there YouTube audience. If you would like to jump ahead to the meat of this video, feel free to skip ahead to 9 minutes and 38 seconds, as the next 8 minutes are used to explain Lucia's Vskill 2 mix-ups to give a better understanding of what Major Boy is doing. If you do not understand Lucia's Vskill 2 and the key moments it creates, it may benefit to watch the next 8 minutes. Otherwise, feel free to skip ahead. So what I'm actually going to do here is I am going to move over to this screen over here. Here we go. So we're going to sit here and check out Lucia over here. Now, here's the thing. So Vskill 2 is this guy over here. This move does not exist, okay? This move does not exist. Whenever anyone talks about Lucia Vskill 2, it's about this. This is Vskill 2, okay? This doesn't exist. Pay no attention to this move, which is -4 on block, anti-airable, and very slow, and has no projectile invulnerability, so it just loses to fireballs anyway. So what the key to this move over here is the nubbing needle, which is running Vskill 2. So you do Gunsmoke, which is quarter circle forward plus punch into Vskill 2. Now the key to this move is that it is -2 on block, so it is always safe. So no matter how close you are to the opponent, you can block whatever it is they do, unless it's Zangief critical art, of course, but that's an exception to the rule. Now, the whole thing about this is that even though that this is safe, this is not a good situation. Putting yourself into a -2 situation next to the opponent constantly is a recipe for disaster. You will definitely lose if you just sit here and fish with this all day. Okay, so this is not good. So for example, if I record Lucia to throw after block, like so, instead, if I do this, even if I mash on my fastest button, I will lose, right? So if I record Lucia to do stand medium punch instead, like so, whoops, that's not what I want to do. My fastest button will lose. So in other words, putting yourself into this mix-up situation is not good. So if I jab, see, I'm just going to get counter hit and she gets a big combo. So I actually set her up for the mix-up. Now, obviously, if I'm brave, I can EX uppercut and win in that situation. However, that's not the whole story behind this mix-up. Lucia's crouching light punch is her fastest move, so I'm going to set that up over here. What you'll actually notice is that crouching heavy punch into run into nubbing needle. So if I do this into nubbing needle, this is actually a true 3-frame frame trap. So I get the counter hit on here. Now, of course, the problem is crouching heavy punch, not a lot of range on here. But if you do manage to get close up, you do get the counter hit. On the counter hit, you're +4. And in that situation, I get the target combo afterwards. I get the combo, the target combo afterwards. So you basically pay attention to see if you actually get the counter hit. You have plenty of time to hit confirm it. You get that afterwards. So that's actually really, really cool. Against 4-frame characters, so I'm going to simulate this by changing Lucia to her stand light punch, like so. Standing heavy punch into run into nubbing needle becomes a frame trap. So against 4-frame characters, you're even more frightening because this range, this button, which has far more range than crouching heavy punch, does become a frame trap when you do this. And then I can get the combo if I'm actually good. So a couple of extra things about the nubbing needle here, just so you guys know. If the opponent is just blocking, for example, at certain ranges, I can actually make it a little bit safer on block. I think at certain ranges, I can even make it plus. Very hard to do, though. You have to have precise spacing. Ah, God, it's so hard to do. Okay, 0 on block there. However, EX run into nubbing needle while -2 at ranges, it goes a little further, so it's a little bit easier to hit later in the active frame, like so. And you saw I was +1 there. So normally it's -2, but you can do it right so that you're 0, etc., etc. Now, last thing to note is that if I do this run into do nothing, I'm -4. Crouching heavy punch, I'm -3. So crouching heavy punch, run into do nothing, run and stop is -3 at best, and -4 at best off of standing heavy punch. However, combining all of these things together, and I don't know why my capture device is going crazy like this. I don't know why my capture device is going crazy. Don't worry, I'm going to be moving away from that in a second. So the reason why this becomes very scary is now, do you hit a button or do you worry about her stopping like this? Do you worry about her jabbing and throwing you? And so there's this whole mix-up that now gets built into this, that I can counter hit your 3-frame buttons with this, or your 4-frame buttons if you're a 4-frame character, or I can stop, start over again, go for throws. I can go for all sorts of mix-ups in this situation here. So this is the setup for Lucia's Vskill 2. Now, the one last thing I will say is that in V Trigger 1, EX nubbing needle is actually +2. So you have to have V Trigger 1 active and EX run into nubbing needle, and that gets you a +2. So that's just one little extra thing to note. Now, because you have this giant array of mix-ups here, this actually gives Lucia some juice up close, and very, very strong juice as well. Even against really, really strong players. And as long as you are good at mixing up, and not even just mixing up, but maintaining the story to tell, you can actually blow people up pretty badly. So I'm going to go to a channel over here, and oops, hang on a second, let me mute this really quick, and we're going to watch some Major Boy Lucia matches that are on YouTube right now. This is on SFV Fans channel, which they just go to the online, they just go to CFN and basically capture a bunch of matches and put them on there. And so Major Boy Lucia plays as Prism Nana. If you want to find this player online, PRIZM_NANA. This is Tokido Urian here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this down over here. And again, there are they have some matches of Major Boy going up against some very strong players here, and we're gonna see him perform extremely well. But what we're gonna do is we're also gonna map the story that that Major Boy is telling here. And this is important. This is something that's going to be very educational, because what people don't understand is how much of a story is being told all the time by players when they play fighting games. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up a notepad over here, and I'm also going to capture the notepad over here like so. Here we go, notepad captured over here. I'm going to zoom this in over here. We'll bust this out occasionally, but for now I'm going to leave it off. But we'll bust this out occasionally as the matches continue forward, so you can see the kind of things that Major Boy is doing. Oops, what happens here? Oh, that's interesting. Huh. I didn't realize that happened. That's kind of cool. I can actually adjust the size of the notepad and it changes live in here. That's kind of neat. Anyways, let's go ahead and do this. Yeah, so what Tokido is doing, this was kind of a little bit earlier on. He was playing Urian, so he was just experimenting with other characters and making sure that he had a bunch of characters. But regardless, this is Tokido. This is a high-level player here, and very strong player. So let's just go ahead and watch this match as it goes, as we play over here. Okay, so I'm gonna have my controls over here. So immediately, you know, just going in here. Okay, here we go. So first thing we do is, what happens here is Major Boy gets the counter hit in this situation right here, right there, counter hit, confirm into up run kicks. Here we go, mix up time. Okay, first goes for the throw, but that's not what I'm worrying about right now. I want to see the run cancel mix up over here. Okay. Yep, gets, and look at this pressure right now. Very good pressure here. Okay, here we go. First run cancel here. So by default, what does Major Boy go for? Stand heavy punch into the run. Like I said, this works on 4-frame characters. Okay, so this works on 4-frame characters. So let's go back to over here to this notepad here, and what we're gonna do standing HP. Oh boy, that font is small. Let's grow the font a little bit to like 18 maybe. Let's see. 18. Okay, stand heavy punch into run into Vskill 2. And what was the result? Counter hit combo. Alright? So this is the first time that he's done this, and he went for the option that puts him -2. So by default, he went with the safest option that cannot be punished. So to start the guessing game here, Major Boy has gone directly into the safest option, which is -2, cannot be punished, puts him in a disadvantaged situation. Tokido hit the button, the counter hit worked. This is the first part of the story over here. Okay, this is the first chapter of the story that Major Boy has told. And he gets the combo afterwards. And now Tokido's going, okay, I can't hit a button in that situation, so I've got to be careful. And so now Major Boy goes for another throw and wins that first round with a perfect. Oh, Urian is very top tier in this season. Wow, you just jumped right at the beginning. I'm telling you, dude, Major Boy has the most amazing jump over fireball reads. During the course of all these matches that we watch, I swear he's gonna never get uppercutted. It's actually kind of ridiculous. Here we go. All right, so now what's the mix-up here? He waits, okay, run, stop. Oh, but guess what? Tokido still hit a button. Okay, so let's just try to do this. So stand hand punch, run into stop, but you know what? Tokido mashed and won. So what's happening here now is that Major Boy is thinking to himself, okay, he still hit a button, but you see what he tried to do. Because he got the counter hit last time, he says Tokido is a smart player. He's scared now. He knows not to hit a button because I can beat him. So what I'm going to do is run stop and try to keep going with pressure. But Tokido said, nah, fam, I'm going to keep mashing. So in this tale, and again, this storyline has continued. We have reached the second chapter of the story, and it is that Tokido is going to mash anyway. So that's information for Dragon Boy. Okay, let's keep going here. All right, so now Major Boy, Dragon Boy, for Major Boy, knows now that Tokido is still willing to hit buttons. And I don't know why this is so choppy over here. I apologize for the choppiness of this, but hopefully it's not terrible. And here we go. Tokido gets the throw, and if I remember here, Tokido just kind of murders her in the corner over here. Oh no, never mind. Okay, he gets out. Tokido with the headbutt. Yeah, okay, yeah, no, it was a murder over here. Oh, time for the shimmy. Come on, Tokido, shimmy. Ah, there it is. Yes, okay. There we go, dead. All right. Okay, not much story to tell over here because Tokido just murdered her. How's it going, Burstark? All right, let's go back over here. All right, here we go. See? All right. Let's back up again. Let's back up again here real quick. Tokido still hasn't learned. Tokido mashed. Let's go back to here again. Stand heavy punch into run into Vskill 2. Counter hit combo. You're starting to see a little bit of the game here, right? So now what you see Major Boy is trying to do is like, okay, Tokido's going to keep hitting buttons. So I'm going to keep doing Vskill 2. And again, Urien is a 4-frame character, so he cannot stop standing heavy punch run into nubbing needle. He cannot stop that as a 4-frame character. So because Tokido mashed the second time, what Major Boy has done is returned back to the first option, which is the safe option that beats the last thing that Tokido did. So we're resetting the story now back to this and really trying to emphasize to Tokido, you can't hit buttons. Tokido might not be familiar with the nubbing needle. That is a very huge possibility because not a lot of people use it. Maybe he didn't know you can't mash in that situation. So what Major Boy is trying to do right now is make sure that he teaches Tokido you cannot mash buttons here. This is the story I am trying to tell you. This is the tale of the tape. You cannot mash buttons. I'm going to show you again. And so he goes for the Vskill 2 a second time. And once again, gets the counter hit combo off of there. Oh, tried it again, but Tokido with the EX. Nice. Look at that. Just EX. Get out of here. Okay, gets the cross up there. All right, here we go. Probably again. Yep, here we go. And see, again, he did crouching heavy punch, which is the same thing, only it works on 3-frame buttons as well. But guess what he did? Guess what he did? He did it again. He went for the button again. Run into Vskill 2. Do you see what he's doing here? Do you see what he's doing here? He's done it now. So he did it once. Hoped Tokido would learn. Tokido didn't learn. So now he's just going to keep doing it to really hammer home to Tokido. You cannot hit the button. You cannot hit the button. So he's going to do it again. And guess what? He gets the counter hit again. So he's done it 3 times now. He's really trying to educate Tokido that you cannot hit buttons here. Oh boy. Aegis Reflector time. Have fun. Oh God, what do I do? Okay, gets the free jump and no uppercut from Tokido and then gets a cross up and just wins. So very straightforward. But again, these are sets of 2 out of 3. Remember, these are online sets. So the story continues, okay? So even though that was one game, the story is still continuing on here. And the story is going to continue the next time they play. Anytime they run into each other again, the story is going to continue. This is one of the things that people who play nothing but ranked matches have trouble establishing. They use all their tricks right away. They just try to overrun people. They're not good at telling the story. And so you see here 3 times already that Major Boy just went for the Vskill 2. Because he's not going to go for any of the other crazy options because he's trying to establish one option that's clearly working every time anyway. So here we go. Trying to find his way in to get into this mix-up. Oh, and by the way, Vskill 2, I had no idea until someone in my chat pointed this out to me. Vskill 2 running Nubbing Needle is projectile invulnerable lower body projectile invulnerable. I actually had no idea. It does run into high tiger shot, so it's not completely invincible, but lower body invulnerable to projectiles. I had no idea. That's actually kind of sick. And that actually will help against projectile characters. So against Ryu and Kens and Akumas, I might start using this intentionally here. But he gets a punish off of that because he was still in the recovery of the fireball. Here we go, mix-up time. Oh, okay, just hit him, combo, so no need for the mix-up. Goes for the throw, mix-up again, standard. Misses with the Nubbing Needle a little bit too far away, like I said. Hard to make that reach. Okay, block, okay, too far away. Gets the counter hit, set up, nice block by Tokido. Just applying a little bit different pressure here. So what he's trying to do is establish a lot of Lucia's other games, combos into burn kicks and stuff. Crouch medium kick into run is like -6 or 8. So there's a big hole in there, so he doesn't want to do crouch medium kick into run into Nubbing Needle. Can be jabbed no matter what. So he's going to just try to play some of the other game here until he can establish that running mix-up again. Whoop, counter hit a little bit too far away, and you are... Oh, okay. Tokido looked like he was trying to bait something out of Major Boy, like maybe an EX uppercut or something, or he just dropped that combo. But I loved that, by the way. Walk up raw activation of mirror. Like, you're scared. So I'm just going to plant this mirror here, and now it's super scary. And look at that. He even had it just right to hit. That was sick by Tokido. Walk up and then get the throw, and the mirror floated forward far enough to actually juggle off the throw. That was super sick by Tokido over there. Okay, here we go. Standing heavy punch, run, and he did it again. But, interestingly enough, Tokido did EX headbutt. So what Tokido maybe has realized now is that run into Nubbing Needle is not a true block string. So he did it again. But you see exactly what I said earlier on. Because of number 2, because Tokido mashed this one time, all Major Boy has done now is the same mix-up over and over and over again. Because he's trying to make sure that Tokido understands the situation. And with Tokido getting the EX headbutt and beating him, I think Major Boy now at this point is like, okay, Tokido kind of gets this. Now, Tokido could have just been like, I'm just going to do EX headbutt mashed here, and it just happened to work in this situation, but this is still good information for both of them because this is such a call, like this is one of those light bulb moments. This could seem like an innocuous interaction between most players, but because this headbutt actually beat the situation here, whether or not Tokido knew this was going to work, he knows it now. Both players are going to be like, okay, very, very key moment of a matchup here. This was learned, and now this is going to add information to the game. Whether both of these players knew it or not before, and I'm going to assume that they both knew what was happening here, but even if you play against a lower level player, this is one of those situations that's such a, that now you're pretty sure they noticed. Sometimes things like this can happen in matches and you can, it's weird, I don't understand it, but in your heart, innately, you can tell the opponent didn't notice what happened. But this is one of those situations that's such a big call out and such a big, situation that now as the Lucia player and as the Urian player, both of you are probably like, okay, that's interesting. I'll remember that for next time because that'll work. And so it's just one of those situations that you know both players noticed and now you've known has added to the story. This is a little plot twist that has been added to the story and now you're going to actually have to play a little bit differently. That he's trying to avoid Lucia's narrative? Yeah, absolutely, you want to beat this storyline. You don't want to keep doing, and that's the whole thing about fighting games, is that both players are telling stories and they're both just trying to destroy each other's story. You know, it's like one of those things where you're a kid, where you're playing with your sibling, with He-Man, and you're like trying to establish a story, and like Skeletor manages to do this, and the other kid doesn't like that because he uses He-Man, and he's like, no, but then He-Man does this and stops it, and then the other kid goes like, well, Skeletor actually had this the whole entire time. You know, that's basically what fighting games are, is like two kids trying to play and tell a story, but they both have a different idea where the story wants to go, and they keep trying to shove it in that direction, passive aggressively, without actually like fighting each other and stuff. So, you know, that's kind of what fighting games are in a lot of ways. But let's keep going here. So Tokido gets that EX headbutt this time, and then tries to bait something out. Let me do another thing here. I wonder if this will actually try to help the capture a little bit if I shut down that thing over. Whoops, no, I killed the wrong thing. I wanted to kill this. There we go. Hopefully that helps. There you go. Yeah, it definitely led to fights. It definitely led to fights. All right, here we go. Yeah, it's a little smoother now. All right, so back here. Okay, she's in story. And guess what? Because of that situation now, Major Boy has changed the storyline all of a sudden. Now he's actually canceled into run stop again. Remember, this was his second option in the storytelling. This was actually the second option that he had in the storytelling. Where's my notepad here? Here we go. So he went, do the frame trap, run stop, got hit, do the frame trap, do the frame trap, do the frame trap. Aha! Tokido has learned. Now I'm going to go back to the second story, part of the story that I tried to tell earlier, and now is doing run stop again. So he's going to do a run stop here, and what happens? Tokido mashes a button, but mashes late. You see, Tokido was a little nervous now, so Urien had a late button, or late crouching light punch, and basically Major Boy did nothing. So technically speaking, Tokido won because he took control of the situation. But what was happening there was that he knows that the EX headbutt has a startup of... I'm looking this up right now. Shoutouts to FAT on the mobile platforms. Dangerous headbutt, EX, 12 frame startup. I said crouching heavy punch, run stop is a 3 frame, minus 3 frames. So he did this minus 3 frames. It's going to be safe against Urien because Urien is a 4 frame button character. So he does this, but he blocks because he wants to see if Tokido keeps telling his story of the EX headbutt. Tokido didn't. He might not have even been charged for the headbutt, to be honest with you. But what Major Boy's doing is testing to see if Tokido goes for it again. He would have blocked it and punished it. But not only that, he's trying to tell Tokido, hey, look, you can't EX headbutt every single time because I'm going to run and stop. Now, even though he run, stopped, did nothing, and Tokido jabbed and took control of the situation, Major Boy doesn't care. Because now what Major Boy has done is shown Tokido, I am willing to run and stop and try to bait out your EX headbutt. The next phase of the story has been told. So let's keep going over here. Alright, so now we're going to use the EX Fireball to get in. Here we go. Pressure. Okay, run stop again. He saw last time the run stop from Tokido produced a late button from Tokido. So now what Major Boy has realized is that Tokido might also be delaying the crouch light punch to block the nubbing needle and to also challenge maybe run stop. So what he does now is crouching medium kick run into stop. Now, like I said, this is super not safe. crouching medium kick, run, stop, I believe, like I said, is like -6, -8 or something like that. But this is the next phase of the story. He's testing to see how Tokido reacts to run, stop. And in this situation here, Tokido, let's go back a little bit here. Did nothing, and then what he managed to get was his crouching light punch. Let's see here. Lucia crouching light punch. And so she wins. Because so she has the advantage. She took control of a minus situation, stole a turn, and now she has the advantage because crouch light punch is plus on block. So now it's Lucia's turn, and what he decides to do is go for a shimmy in this situation. And as you see here, Tokido kind of bites on it, and so she gets the shimmy situation off of this into the combo. Okay, delayed, trying to see if Tokido goes for an EX headbutt. And again, the interesting thing is, all of these situations, I could create a new notepad and start telling the story for that situation too. After crouch light punch, you know, that time Major Boy did a shimmy. The next time he did nothing. Did crouch light punch, nothing. And Tokido did not. So every one of these key situations is a completely different notepad with a completely different story. And I'm only focusing on this one story. Another story is what happens when Tokido gets off the ground. We've seen a meaty throw from Major Boy. We've seen Stan light kick into a throw in that situation. So each one of these is a different thread of a story being told, and trust me, they're all being remembered as separate threads in these different situations. And this is why fighting games is hard, because you have to remember all these threads and what happened in those situations, and it is really, really kind of scary to do. And this is why I say mental fatigue is so hard, is because if you don't remember these storylines, then you're going to basically get destroyed, because now you are trying to play the game as a random RPS, while your opponent, who isn't suffering from mental fatigue, is remembering everything and is able to defeat you. Now, does Major Boy remember stand heavy punch, run, stand heavy punch, stomp, stand heavy, oh, counter hit, EX headbutt, what? No, he doesn't remember this whole thing. He just knows what the last situation was. So he remembers, okay, I got him with the counter hit, so next time I'm going to try run, stop. Oh, he mashed buttons, so okay, so now I need to teach him. So I'm going to keep doing heavy punching to run. Oh, he EX headbutted me this time, so now I'm going to try to block this time. And now, so it's not necessarily that he remembers every step that led to this part of the story, that this chapter of the story, is he remembers the mood. He has a general heart in his, general feeling in his heart, how the story kind of got there, and he remembers that. He remembers the feeling of like, okay, we're in this weird situation now where I've been able to run, stop, and win a couple of times. So how do I take advantage of this situation? So that's what he's remembering now. He doesn't remember every step. He just remembers where they are based off of the path that got them there. So here we go. Gonna keep going here. Gets tries to get back in, but walks back out. Again, nubbing needle going through fireballs. Had no idea. That's really cool. And Tokido doing a good job here. Yeah, he tried to set up the mix-up again. Nice anti-air. Okay, stop the dash forward, and now he's in. So what's the mix-up at this point? Okay, he goes for a true frame trap here with the crouching medium kick. That's just what he does. Into the burn kick, because that's a safe option. And again, crouching medium kick, run into stop. And crouching light punch. He won again. So like I said, this is not real. This is not a real mix-up. He can be punished in this situation, but he's going to try it again because last time it worked, so he's going to do it again. So what he's trying to do now is establish again this story. It worked last time, and what he's realized now is maybe I can do this again, and maybe Tokido will be scared again, and so I'm going to try it again, and guess what? It worked. So now Major Boy is getting this kind of storyline in his head, and this is all coming off of running into Nubbing Needle way back when he did Standing Heavy Punch into Vskill 2. That Vskill 2 gave him this whole entire situation. And yes, this is absolutely similar to Vega's claw switch situation, Azul Claro. Again, Street Fighter V is full of this situation. This is the Street Fighter RPS. Every character does this, and every character does this in spades. This is the same situation after you block Bison's Psycho Axe. This is the same situation after you get hit by Laura's light elbow. This is the same situation as when, let's see, what's other good, if Urien does EX shoulder tackle to you. This is the exact same situation as when you block Mika's drop kick. This is the exact same situation as when let's say Nakali does standing heavy kick into V-trigger cancel. This is the exact same situation as anytime anyone knocks you down and you get up and they're there ready to attack you. This is the Street Fighter V RPS, and this is why this game to a lot of people feels like it's a guessing game and it's random, because Street Fighter V puts you into this situation over and over and over and over and over again. But the thing about it is, if you play the game and keep each of those situations separate in their own threads and understanding how the opponent reacted the last time you were in this key moment, that is how you are going to succeed in Street Fighter V. These situations were present in Street Fighter 4 Instant Riot. It's a great question, but why did they not matter as much? One, invincible uppercuts into FADC. Solved that situation. You never had to worry about that. Uppercut, FADC, backdash, some people could be punished, but that changed the situation entirely. Having an invincible uppercut changes the situation entirely, right? Just because that option beats all three, like every option except block. So having that was important. Second reason why that the situation occurred in Street Fighter 4, but it wasn't as important. Backdashes. Backdashes were invincible frame 1, so you could always escape these situations with a backdash. Now, if the opponent knew that, they would start with a light punch and do the option select, but if they tried to go for a medium punch, for example, you would backdash, escape, be safe. Third reason why this situation did not occur in Street Fighter 4, there was no input buffer. Because of Street Fighter V's input buffer, there is very, very little room for mistake. If I put myself in a +2 situation and throw out a 5-frame button, I will have that frame trap exactly right 95% of the time in this game. And because the input buffer does give you those 5% of human error, it doesn't matter. The opponent's not going to challenge you because 95% of the times you do it right, and there's no reason to challenge. Even in that one time he made a mistake, are you really going to try to squeeze in a 3-frame button counting on that 5% of a mistake? No, you're not, right? And so the input buffer has allowed everybody in Street Fighter V to have frame perfect accuracy 95% of the time, so their frame traps are always going to be tight. So those 3 situations right there, those 3 factors are what's creating the Street Fighter RPS in a way that hasn't existed in any of the other fighting games. And again, this is not a problem with Street Fighter V. This is how Street Fighter V is built. They constructed it this way. This is why there is no invincible uppercut, because they want this Street Fighter RPS situation to dominate. Now, there's a lot of nuances to this. If I go for the medium punch when I'm +2, that means I beat your light punch, 3-frame light punch, because of priority system. But if you have an uppercut that's invincible on the 3rd frame, but again, all that stuff is a lot more details. If people want me to go into that, I can definitely talk about that a little bit in more detail here in the middle of this lesson. It might actually be kind of valuable for people, because the priority system makes it so that if I'm +2 and I hit a 5-frame medium button and my opponent does a 3-frame button, we're supposed to trade. We will hit on our active frames on the exact same frame. So that means we should trade, but because of the priority system in Street Fighter V, my standing medium punch will beat your crouch, your 3-frame light punch. However, if I have a DP like Sagat's medium DP or Ryu's heavy DP, which is invincible on the 3rd frame, if you know someone's trying to beat your light button with your medium button in a priority situation that's frame perfect, then those uppercuts that have the invincibility on the 3rd frame will beat that. So if I was +2 and I did standing medium punch with Lucia, that makes it so that I hit on the 3rd frame, you'll be invincible on your 3rd frame of the uppercut and you'll beat it. However, if I do a 4-frame button, I will still beat your uppercut. So again, this is a hard read kind of situation. This is the discussion that I got into with High Fight and Logan and Eli on Twitter just a while ago. You can make the hard read to win those situations when people try to go for the medium button that will beat you in a priority situation, but you will still lose if I did a 4-frame button because I'll hit you in the first 2 frames of your uppercut, which are not invincible. So that's kind of how that part of the mind game myself. Is there a crackling noise? Let's do this. All right, let me know if the crackling noise is gone. Gone, okay. XSplit being weird. All right, so we just completed Chapter 8 of the story where Major Boy was able to run, stop, and attack after crouching medium kick, meaning that Tokido is scared to hit buttons when he sees a run, and so that means Major Boy now has a lot of opportunities to steal turns. Crouching medium kick into run, like I said, is like -6. In fact, let me just test it right now. I'll tell you what it is right now. Let's see here, yeah. It's -8. So crouching medium kick run into do nothing, if I'm not mistaken, is -8. So that means Lucia should be able to hit it with a standing heavy punch. Yeah, so it's very negative. It's not real at all. But because Major Boy tested it one time with the crouching heavy punch into run stop, now he's, you know, getting a little braver with the crouching medium kick into it and stealing turns. It's after he does crouching medium kick into run stop, Urien can punish her, but he's stealing turns because he's catching Tokido off guard and he's gotten Tokido scared to hit buttons when he sees the run. Tokido might not be familiar with the fact that crouching medium kick run is completely a gigantic risk for Lucia, so Major Boy is testing that out right now. So again, just in case you guys have just tuned in and haven't seen this, here's the storyline so far. And so let's keep going. Let's see what Major Boy does next. Run into this again. So what he's done now is, because 3 times in a row he did run stop into nothing, what he's hoping now is that Tokido is going to challenge him. So again, look, run stop, run stop, run stop. So what he's hoping that he has done now is that he has taught Tokido that I'm going to run stop a lot. So he's trying to get Tokido to hit a button again. Tokido does not, however, he actually doesn't do anything. Tokido blocks. Tokido blocks here, right? So now what's happened is Lucia is going to be -2 in this situation. This is actually the first time we've run into this situation. This is the first time we've run into this situation. And let's see if Major Boy decides to take advantage of this and send a message right now. Does Major Boy EX uppercut right here to show Tokido right away that you are not necessarily safe and I'm minus, or is he going to play the safe route and block? Let's find out, because this is the next layer of the mix-up. So let's see what Major Boy does. Okay, next chapter of the story told. EXDP Tokido hit. Next part of the story told. So you see how this whole entire thing led to that moment. That was the first time Tokido blocked that, and so now Major Boy says, you know what? You need to learn today. You need to learn. You're going to hit a button because clearly this is negative. You probably know it's negative, and you haven't seen me do this yet. It's the end of the round. I win if I do this. If I lose, I'll probably die, whatever. It's a 2 out of 3 set. But I want you to know that this is possible. So now the 9th chapter of the story has been told. After Nubbing Needle, I can EX Uppercut, and it was a kill situation. There are times that you can scramble Nub into EX Uppercut, and the opponent's like, huh, oh, okay, whatever, and you guys keep going, and the opponent might not have realized what happened, but this is a KO moment. So this is a KO moment, guaranteed he realizes what happens. I was playing a match online. One time, I blew somebody's mind on stream because crouching medium kick into light burn kick with Lucia is -4. A lot of people try to hit buttons to take their turn afterwards, so you can EX uppercut in that situation because you're too far away for the 4-frame buttons to hit you. So you can usually EX uppercut someone. And I was going to do that to somebody. At the end of a round, they had no life left. But every time I hit him with crouch medium kick into burn kick, it felt like a scramble situation. And because it felt like a scramble situation, I didn't feel like my opponent was going to hit a button after blocking the burn kick. So it was like scramble, low, medium kick, burn kick, and I was like, no, it's too scrambly, he's scared, he's not going to hit a button, I'm not going to EX burn kick. I wanted to wait until I put the opponent in a very fixed, known situation, and I finally got close enough to do standing medium punch, crouching medium kick, light burn kick, which is a calm situation. He had seen that a million times, so he knew what to do in response. Then I EX uppercutted, and he hit a button, and I beat him. And the person in my chat was, wait, you wanted the situation to be calm to apply your mix-up? And I was like, yes, because I wanted to make sure the opponent was in a situation where they knew what to do, what would be optimal to do. So in that situation, I was actually trying to make the opponent calm in those situations. So again, it's not about just applying the trick, it's about kind of judging the situation as well. And so here in this situation here, he felt like Tokido was in a calm enough situation that he would try to counter so that the EX uppercut would work. And there you go. So Major Boy takes that round from Tokido. But again, the story is not finished being told. The story is not finished being told. So here we go. Let's keep going with this. Let's see where the story takes us next. And let's get rid of Notepad over here. Okay, there we go. All right. Hasn't been able to get into this situation. Okay, here we go. But he hit him. He hit him, so he's just going to go into the shoulder. And nice confirm, by the way, not going into the nubbing needle, that he actually saw Tokido hit a button. And so he actually gets the combo off of this instead. All right. For pressure. Oh, no, he missed. And now he cornered himself. This is not a good situation. Pokes his way out of there, but again, knows that that's negative. Challenges, gets caught out of the air. Oh, wow, the counter hit confirm into the side switch. You are a genius, Major Boy. That was nice right there. So he did wake up light punch counter hit and confirmed it because Tokido missed his meaty, because it's hard to read back roll or quick rise in the corner, even for the strongest of players like Tokido. And then he used the target combo side switch throw. You're back in the corner. Tokido read that Major Boy wasn't going to do anything, dashed up and tried to throw, but Major Boy walked too far away, and so Tokido instead tried to attack instead. So here we go. Dashed up. Oh no, he did try to throw and he missed. And Major Boy tried to punish, couldn't quite get it. Gets the charge up. Here we go. Mix up, but he got the counter hit anyway. But see, this time Major Boy didn't confirm it. He didn't realize that that was going to get hit because that's a tough to confirm situation. But standing heavy punch into nubbing needle is a combo on counter hit. Leaves you +2. So he's actually now in a situation where he has the advantage anyway. So it's still Major Boy's turn. It's still his mix-up. And now he goes for that, and now he goes for the run stop. So he went for the shimmy in that situation, and now goes for the run stop and into jab again. So again, he goes for the run stop. So standing heavy punch into run stop. So again, he goes for standing heavy punch into run stop and gets the Lucia crouching light punch and wins. So again, now Tokido is back to being scared to hit buttons because what Major Boy has done is such a good job now of really getting Tokido thinking. Like, you can tell Tokido is thinking right now. Like, he's like, wait, so when I did block this, he uppercutted me and he's run stopping, but when I hit a button, he's hitting me here, and Tokido is actually kind of confused right now. Honestly, my bet right now is that Tokido is a little flustered, because not only did she get the crouch light punch in that situation after the run stop, she actually got a counter hit on it, if I'm not mistaken. Oh no, she just hit him. She just hit him. So he tried to do something. But here we go. Mix-up situation again. Instead, he's stealing turns. So now he's taking this entire mix-up here, this entire mix-up of the stand heavy punches, crouch heavy punches into run. This giant mix-up here, he has gotten Tokido thinking about it so much that what he's actually going to do right here, and I'm going to add this to the list, do not do at all. He actually is just not going to do anything. And Lucia walks, steals turn. So Lucia is actually stealing a turn here now, just by walking. Just by walking, because Tokido is so used to standing medium punch, standing heavy punch, run into something. Instead, he does stand medium punch into walk forward. And because now he's been able to do this walk forward over here, see, watch. Now he's just constantly stealing turns. Look at this. Look at that. Look at that. He is just constantly stealing turns with walk-up light punch, because that is how flustered and confused he has gotten Tokido. He's read the situation that he keeps showing all these different options. So now Tokido is like, crap, what do I do in this run situation? So Tokido right now is thinking so hard about, how do I counter stand heavy punch into run? What's my next? What am I telling in my story now? What am I going to tell after that? So Tokido's so mentally focused on that, he's waiting for a heavy punch into run cancel. That Major Boy says, you know what? I'm just going to walk up and jab you like 5 times in a row, because I know you're thinking about this situation so much. You're not paying attention to this pressure situation anymore. So he's now turned that giant thread of a mix-up into, now I can just steal turns and walk light punch you and get you nervous and scared. So that's what Major Boy has changed the narrative to. He says, you know what, you're thinking about that so much, I'm not gonna do the mix-up anymore. I'm gonna take your brain away from the mix-up so that you can't think about what properly to do. I'm trying to tell you a completely different story so you forget the run story. So now I can get back to the run cancels and the run into nubbing needles. That's the whole point of doing this now, is to try to pull Tokido away from thinking about that storyline into a new storyline and get him confused. So let's keep going here. And now he backs away because all he's trying to do is find a way in. Wow, that was a cross-up? How was that even a cross-up? But he misses his combo here, and he corners himself, and things are not good. Things are not... Oh, no! He just gets the ambiguous cross-up in the soup. He just jumped out of here, dude. He just found the moment to jump out, hit with the cross-up. Dead. So what happens here now is that there was a couple of times that Major Boy now just got these raw jump-ins. And how did he get this raw jump in? Yeah, he just walked away and then in the cross-up. Seriously, dude. But that's how much. And you see right there, this is another situation that a lot of people get themselves into. They get into this pressure situation. They're like, I am in pressure situation. Got to keep this up. Got to keep my opponent flustered. But instead what Major Boy did was, you know what? He was like, see ya. After all that pressure, he just walked all the way away. And what that does now is Tokido's like, wait, did he just walk away? I'm trying to think about how to handle this pressure. I'm going to EX uppercut because he's going so crazy with pressure. He walked away. And so that ruined Tokido's read that Major Boy is being super aggressive. Major Boy walks away, resets the situation, then finds his way back in. Not enough players do this. You'll see top players do this a lot. They go into huge pressure and then they back off. When you play online, for most of the average players, they get into this situation. They're like, yes, rush, rush, rush. And then you get EX uppercutted. And you're like, dang it. But Major Boy cut that off from the start. So you can see right here, what was the story that he told Tokido here? Standing heavy punch, run into Vskill 2. He got the counter hit. So he's like, all right, Tokido's a smart boy. He's not going to mash next time. I'll do it again, but this time I'll run into stop to get the pressure because he's not mash. Oh, God, he did mash. Tokido did mash. Okay, maybe he doesn't know. Maybe Tokido doesn't know. So you know what? I'm just going to keep running into Vskill 2 and just keep doing this until he learns, okay? So let's do it again. Oh, look, he didn't learn. I counter hit him. You know what? Screw it. I'm going to do it again because I want to make sure that he knows. Oh, counter hit. He did it again. Okay, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to keep doing it. I need for him to stop this or block it. I need for him to show me that he should not be hitting but oh look, he EX headbutted me. Even though I got hit, part of the story. Tokido understands now. Tokido understands he has a way to stop this. So now I've gone back to run stop and I'm not going to do anything because I want to see if he EX headbutts again. So I'm going to run stop, do nothing, and Tokido did a late button. Okay, if he does a late button, that means I can steal turns. If he does a late button, that means I can steal turns. So, crouching medium kick, run stop, the ultimate way to test. You're -8. He tried it. He won. He was successful. And he tried it again. He was successful. And so now he's thinking, okay, Tokido now has seen me steal turns a bunch of times with the run stop. So now I'm going back to the Vskill 2. I'm going to go back to the Vskill 2. I went back to the Vskill 2, but he didn't do anything still. In fact, Major Boy would have been able to pull off this turn steal again. He would have been able to run off and do something because Tokido did nothing. But this time Tokido blocked the Vskill 2, and Major Boy's like, you know what? I haven't seen what he's done in this situation yet. If I EXDP, he dies. And I really want him to know I can do this, so he will be scared to hit a button after running into Nubbing Needle on block. So I'm going to EX uppercut. I want to tell him the story, and he does, and he hits him. And now Tokido is a little more confused, so in the next round, he gets standing heavy punch, run into stop, and then crouching light punch, and actually hits Tokido, and Tokido is now just like, okay, processing all of these run mix-ups, and then right afterwards, Major Boy doesn't do it anymore. Steals turns with a bunch of walk-up light punches, and then all of a sudden changes to, I'm just going to jump and cross you up all day. And ends up winning versus Tokido. And so he takes that match from Tokido by this narrative, this story being told. And again, what you see here is that all of these situations here are the same sort of mix-up situation. Standing heavy punch canceled into run has led to all these different options here, but because Major Boy has managed to keep that storyline for that situation separated from the storylines of every situation, he was able to craft this. Was this EX uppercut a guess? Barely. Barely a guess. In fact, he went for the safest option, can't be punished, first. And then from that point forward, the story was told. And if you look at the sequence here, you can see that none of these situations you can even legit call a guess. You cannot legit call any of these situations a true guess. They have told, Major Boy has told the story from start to finish and was able to succeed against Tokido. And like I said, he just does this all day. He does this constantly. So, let's skip Just Fog's Ryu, and I want to go to Daigo's Kage over here because I just want people to, oh jeez, advertisements. Here we go. Let's go to Daigo and Kage here because I I think you guys would probably want to see some Daigo matches over here and see how he manages to fight against Daigo instead. So here we go. This is Major Boy. This is the same video here. He's going to be going up against Daigo Umehara. You do the crime, you do the time.
Round 1.
So here we go. We are going to now do the exact same thing here with Major Boy versus Daigo now. So this is now a new chapter. This has nothing to do with Tokido. This is a brand new storyline to tell. Take Tokido out of your mind because this is a brand new match, brand new opponent. Let's go. Let's do this.
Fight.
Alright, immediately. Oh god, you got baited. Daigo got baited. Okay. Alright, hasn't done any of the nubbing needle mix-ups yet. Okay, -2 situation. So this is a raw nubbing needle situation here. This is different than the run cancel. So this is a different thread. But he doesn't have any EX meter, so most likely what Major Boy is going to do is nothing. It's probably nothing. Sorry. What he's probably going to do here is nothing. Yep, nothing. Daigo took his turn, but that means Major Boy now knows, Daigo knows that he's plus, that it's his turn. Daigo took his turn with the fastest button that he has. That is actually information. That's story. That's kind of a different thread. Like, I'm not adding this to the notepad because it's a different thread. Post-blocking nubbing needle, even though I added it when he EXDP'd, because that was kind of part of the story, but it came after the run cancel. But in this one, raw, Major Boy knows, Daigo knows that the situation is in the opponent's favor. It's their turn, so he blocked the light punch. Major Boy knows that Daigo knows now. Alright, let's go back. Oh, why did Daigo do that? Well, he's going to get punished. What? That was definitely an execution error. He was trying to run into nubbing needle and instead run, and he hit back by accident, stopped, and then he did raw Vskill, which is punishable. And again, anytime you see a Lucia do Vskill 2 like that, it was probably a mistake. Who needs Notepad++, man? Notepad, okay. Oops, that was also an execute. What is happening to poor dude? This is the oh, that was sick from Daigo, by the way. This is the execution error round of Major Boy over here. But look at this. Block, what's one of the safest things to do is to walk away from this. And so Daigo walks him down and actually catches him low. That was actually really smart. And even had a counter hit as well. Okay, Fireball's gonna bounce, gonna use this as an opportunity. First time we've seen the V-trigger activation. Here we go, you gotta block this. Here comes the pressure. No, he hasn't done any run cancels yet. Just gets the cross up and he's gonna be able to get the kill off of that. So we actually in this round did not see any of the run cancel mix-ups. Now, this could also be because these two have played each other before and the narrative has continued. That the run cancel pressure hasn't worked very well against Daigo. So he might not do that. Oh, Daigo has been practicing doing crouch medium kick into Tatsu hit confirms off of single hits. Well, there you go. That was the execution error there. But Major Boy does end up taking that round off of a nice little cross-up jump attack right there. Perfect timing on that. And again, Major Boy's jump timing is ridiculous. He jumps over fireballs and he gets these cross-ups. He just knows when to jump. He knows when the opponent's not ready for the jump. But here comes a standing heavy punch. So we may see our first situation here. And yes, immediately, and this is why I think these two have played each other online a lot. Daigo says, pardon the French, he says, fuck your mix-up. And here we go. And EXDPs and blows it up. He says, I don't care. I'm just doing this now because I know this works. I know this works and I need you to know. So now Daigo is the one trying to tell the story here. He wants Major Boy to understand right away that Daigo is like, look, I know your stupid mix-up. We've played before. We've had matches. And I've at least fought a lot of Lucias. I understand. Screw your mix-up. Alright, so now Raw Nubbing Needle. Okay. So like I said, this is a different thread, right? This is a different thread. I can't even add it to the notepad, but last time he saw Daigo try to take the turn. So now it's Major Boy's turn to go, okay, Raw Nubbing Needle, EX Uppercut. I need you to know I'm willing to do this. I need you to know that I'm willing to do this so that you won't always take your turn. But like I said, this is a different thread. I can't add this to the list because it's a completely different thread. And that's the interesting part, is that when you play these fighting games, you keep track of all these different threads. This is how fighting games work. You're reading multiple books at the same time and doing that whole thing where you're fighting to tell the story at the same time in multiple places. This is why fighting games are hard. But this is a great illustration of how you're supposed to think during these matches. This is literally how fighting games are played like this. Alright, back to over here. Kicks the fireball. Daigo stealing turns with a couple of... oops, sorry. Forgot to get rid of the notepad again. Daigo stealing turns with 2 heavy stomps in a row. Oh, fierce into nothing? That looked like me. That happens to me a lot. Seeing that happen to Major Boy, now I'm almost starting to think maybe there's a bug in Lucia or something that just makes it so that doesn't work sometimes. Here we go. Oh, okay. Challenge the forward movement. Confirmed off of a single hit. Confirmed off of the stand. I mean, he could have just run, canceled, stop, or into Nubbing Needle anyway. But it just didn't come out or something. Or, yeah, maybe he just got confused. That's one of many scenarios it could possibly be. But I just account it to execution error or a bug to make myself feel better. Understand that, Dragon Mash. Understand that. I'm using it as a self-serving thing. Okay, finally we got a crouch medium kick, run, stop. We've got a crouch medium kick, run, stop. So finally, Major Boy gets a little bit of play off of this mix-up. Run into stop. And then crouch light punch. Lucia crouch light punch, and she wins. So now the story is finally being told a little bit here. He's finally starting to establish something. He's finally starting to be able to get this story to be told. Not only that, but he saw that Daigo is not going to EX uppercut there because Daigo might be specifically looking for stand heavy punch into run cancel. Now keep in mind as well that Kage does have a 3-frame button, so he can stop standing heavy punch into run cancel, but that means you have to hit the button right away. But if you are a 3-frame character and you are fighting against a Lucia and you ever see her do stand heavy punch and you see her cancel into the run, you can light punch every single, you can 3-frame every single time. Okay, that is something that's very important to understand. If she does crouching heavy punch, no, you cannot mash a 3-frame button. If she does standing heavy punch, cancel into a run, you can always mash your 3-frame button and you will beat 100% of the options that she has. Stop, nubbing needle, whatever. You will win 100% of the time. It's not real. However, that means you have to be on such hair trigger after the standing heavy punch that you're not going to be ready for a lot of other things. It's a lot harder. It's a lot harder to do than said. Let's just put it that way. But just know that it is not a real mix-up. But she runs and does it, and sure enough, Daigo, see, hits the button a little bit too late. So he just does it again. So last time he did run stop. So now Major Boy is going to flip the script on that and no longer run stop. And now I'm actually going to go for it. I'm going to go for it because I really need to establish that I want to do this. So he gets it. Counter hit combo. So he gets the counter hit combo. There you go. Yes, Ryu's standing light punch is his 3-frame button. So there you go. So now he's going to get the target combo afterwards, as I mentioned. There you go. Oh, God, Daigo. So, again, what did Daigo do on Wake Up? He said, you know what? I'm going to EX uppercut because this is what Daigo does. Daigo is like the epitome of the Alex Vi mantra that he told me. For every 2 logical things you do, you have to do 1 thing illogical. That is Daigo in a nutshell. He will always try to pull off these kind of things because he needs to make sure that the opponent can second guess themselves. If you never establish this, if you're always doing the logical thing, then your opponents will very rarely second guess themselves. If Daigo can establish that Daigo has a little wackiness in him, Momochi does this too. Everyone always says, Momochi's so fundamental, he's not crazy. No, Momochi does this too, okay? All the top players do this. They will all throw out the crazy every once in a while because they know they have to, because if they don't, they're going to lose. That is Street Fighter V. The crazy must be displayed in Street Fighter V. Raw nubbing needle into EX uppercut, crazy. Wake up EX uppercut, crazy. You have to present crazy, otherwise you will not succeed in this game. Alright, so here we go. Daigo now with the pressure here. Daigo gets the jump in, the big old combo. Looks like Umahara-san is getting the run over here that he needs. Activate, scary. Oh, caught him! Okay, what's your mix-up? No, you're just going, oh! You had your critical art all ready to go, and you had your combo, and Daigo is dead. Okay. Well, you see here, what's very interesting about this is that in round 1, we basically almost never had that story told. Does that mean that the story is ineffective? Does that mean that it wasn't? No, that story is still in his mind, and he will keep telling that story in this situation. And you see right there, he tried a standing hit. Okay, there it is again, and he went for it again. But it wasn't a counter hit this time. Very weird. What the hell was Daigo doing to get hit? Maybe Daigo tried to backdash. Maybe Daigo tried to maybe he tried to EX uppercut and just didn't mash it out fast enough or something. Regardless, hard to confirm whether it was a counter hit or not. We'll probably see Major Boy throw out a light punch and then stop because he saw the hit and was like, oh, is that a counter hit? And he hit light punch and he's like, that's not a counter hit. And he'll probably stop. That's my guess. Let's see if I'm right. Yep, right there. Okay, see, there you go. So he light punched, not a combo. And he's like, oops, okay, well, my light punch is blocked. Let's turn into pressure over here. So stand medium punch. And now he goes for the throw. So now he's telling a different story on a different thread after medium punch. Instead of doing a run cancel mix-up, I'm finally putting the throw in here. Daigo's thinking about the run mix-up, so Major Boy gets the throw over here. No tech. Here we go. And now I'm going to cancel into something different because this is a good situation. This is actually a good pressure situation in the corner, being able to throw these fireballs, and it makes it so that stand heavy punch isn't always guaranteed to be canceled into a run. Kind of putting a little branch in there. Again, throwing things off for Daigo a little bit. Here we go. Backs off, but no uppercut. That's kind of why you back off in that situation, because you expect the opponent to jump. But Major Boy there with kind of a little uncharacteristic gaffe in his strategy here. Oh, God, he is trying to challenge. But you saw there that after he blocked, I want you guys to notice this again. And see, this is what I mean. Even though I'm not keeping track of this, I still remember the thread, and this is how you play the game. Remember I just said Daigo stole a couple of turns with the 2 heavy, axe kicks in a row. He did heavy axe kick, walk up, and then something into heavy axe kick. He was trying to steal turns. I mentioned that, not even realizing it was going to come up later. But again, as a player, that story is still somehow stuck in my head. And so, you see in this situation over here, Major Boy realized Daigo was trying to steal turns in that situation. So even after he blocked this, he tried to steal a turn. He tried to do something. It looked like he uppercutted. It looked like he uppercutted. That was weird. Maybe he tried to EX and he failed or something like that. But, I mean, seriously, that looked like... What was that? Yeah, see, that looks like an... What is this? It was like an uppercut or a burn kick. What the hell is he doing? I don't know what the heck he was doing, but he got hit. He got hit. Oh, maybe that is what he was trying to do. He tried to EX, he failed, and this time he did EX uppercut. So now after the block, he's told the next chapter of the story, EX uppercut on that situation. But again, it's a different thread than all the other threads. And you got to keep all these threads in mind. And this is the craziest part about Street Fighter V, is you have to remember all these threads, and it's hard. Oh, wow. Daigo tried to anti-air, and he failed. And again, standing medium punch into throw, that was what he told earlier, and he did it again. Because Daigo's probably waiting for the stand heavy punch into run cancel, right? So again, like I said, these two have probably played each other a lot. Daigo probably knows Major Boy likes to do standing heavy punch into run mix-up, and so that's why Major Boy is doing something different. So even in this situation where I haven't seen their previous matches, I'm trying to glean the storyline out of this. And again, that's the whole thing of fighting games. A lot of times when two people play each other, it's not just that match where their decisions are being based off of. It's based off of matches that they've played all over the place. It's pretty crazy. Interesting here that, let me see here. Oh, okay, there we go. Okay, anyways, let's keep going here. Throw, and then into meaty heavy punch. That's a standard. Forward throw heavy punch is a true meaty. That beats 3 frames, so that's what Major Boy did there. Daigo woke up with a button and got hit. That was nice. So what's very interesting about this match versus Daigo here is you can see the run cancel is being used very sparingly. And that's what's interesting. So you saw in the match against Tokido, you could tell Major Boy was like, I don't think Tokido knows this move very well. And so he abused it. But against Daigo, we already saw Daigo EX uppercut at once. Clearly Daigo knows how that mix-up works. And so what Major Boy has been doing is using it less often. So he hasn't been running into this mix-up as much. And that's why it was kind of interesting to point this match out, is that things changed a little bit here. The situation is very different. And Daigo, you can see Daigo with familiarity knows he wants to throw that fireball, so he's always dashing forward and trying to sweep her out of that fireball. Wow, did he just raw sweep him? That was crazy. So he likes to back off and do that. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, he did. He just raw swept him. Wow. By the way, Lucia's sweep is not like Karen's sweep. When she hits you, it has great range, but whenever you block it, she stays right there. You can punish it for free. I wish it retracted like Karen's sweep, because that would have been sick. All right, here we go. Oh, God. That one. Ow, the cross cut from Daigo Umahara. No quick rise. All right, the throw now. Meaty. Oh, got the counter hit, but didn't combo. Didn't think it was close enough. Okay, here we go. He actually went for the situation here. So what he went for here was the mix-up into stand run into nubbing needle. And what I'm pretty sure he's trying to do is build himself some space as well. So he actually just did this. Oops. And it was blocked. So this time it was blocked here. But again, what's interesting about this, even though in the Tokido situation, I put it in here in this mix-up that he did the EX uppercut, this kind of, you see that the run mix-up thread is actually separate from the post-blocked nubbing needle thread. And since these guys have played each other enough, there is a potential here that they've played each other enough that, you know, like I said, Daigo jab took it. He EX uppercutted one time. You know, if I was Major Boy at this point, I'd probably do nothing, because I've already EX uppercutted one time with that. So I'd probably do nothing here. You want the notes? Maybe I'll post them into the chat. I mean, into the YouTube description. Yeah, so instead he did a delayed tech. But you see, even though I'm not writing that story down, first time Daigo took his turn. Second time, Major Boy did the EX uppercut to punish Daigo for trying to take his turn. Third time, Daigo's like, you're not going to uppercut again because you know I know this mix-up, so you're going to do nothing. So I'm going to throw you. So Major Boy instead does a delay throw tech, gets away from that situation. And yeah, you can see the throw escape is on Major Boy's side right there. So Major Boy did a delayed tech in there. But again, was that a random guess? Was that a random guess? Hell no, it wasn't a random guess. Even though I haven't been writing this thread down, that thread is still pertinent. Post nubbing needle blocked. What's the storyline? The fact that he was able to tech this wasn't because he guessed right, was because the storyline has been continued to be told. And Sigma Nuts, cat butts to Dragon Scoop out there. That's what I tell everybody. Every time they sub to me, thank you very much. You can check out the story behind Sigma Nuts, cat butts over there. Let's continue forward over here. Alright, so now what's the situation here? Ooh, he's stealing turns. You see right now, he still feels like Daigo is looking for that run cancel. And so he's using that opportunity to come forward and attack. So because Daigo knows Major Boy likes to use V-Skill too, he's using it to his advantage to be able to steal turns, dash forward, and get throws now. That's the third time he's done medium punch into throw, and Daigo's taken all 3 of those. And I don't know if Daigo's necessarily going to change because he knows after taking the throw, he's still safer than any other situation. So take the throw as a real tactic. Even though it's a meme in the Street Fighter world, it's a real tactic. If you're mid-screen, take the throw. Take the throw. Okay, back to the match over here. He's in here. And see? Okay, that's plus. Remember I said that's plus. Okay? So if he has V-Trigger 1 activated... He has V-Trigger, yeah, V-Trigger 1 activated. EX run into nubbing needle is plus on block. Okay, so after this situation, this is a different situation. This has nothing to do with the blocked nubbing needle thread. This is a completely different thread because in this case, it's Lucia's turn. Major Boy's probably going to hit a button here and attack because he's plus. Yep, he does. And he tries to throw. So he's been doing medium punch into throw many times in a row. And again, I haven't been writing this down, but I already remember that he's done medium punch into throw 3 times. And so he's just going to go for it again. And you see this time Daigo backdashes away from it and gets away, and Daigo punishes it. So again, post medium punch thread, Daigo remembered that too. Backdashes it this time. He does try to escape it because he's in the corner. He doesn't want to take the throw. So instead, he backdashes it, and then he punishes it. You see that the backdash, he didn't even wait for the throw whiff to process in his brain. He probably just backdashed and hit heavy punch. He was going to do that. That was his play right there. So that wasn't just a, I'm going to backdash in this situation. Oh, he whiff throw. Let me punt. No, this was all planned from the beginning. Daigo had this all ready to go to backdash. And if he sees the throw mix up, he had the combo that he knew he was going to do already ahead of time. Oh God, just a raw jump, and now he cornered himself? Yeah, that's a bad situation. Nice throw tech. Major Boy could still win this if he gets a hit. Oh God, Daigo says, you know what? You keep trying to steal turns with these little walk button, walk button, walk button. I'm gonna EX uppercut, but guess what? That's another thread. That's another thread. I've talked about how Major Boy likes to try to keep stealing those turns in that pressure situation because he's thinking about the heavy punch and the run cancel. So this time, Daigo says, I'm EX uppercutting because you're doing... And how many threads have I talked about already? Like 5 threads here? But each one of them, they remember every single one of them. That is what top players do. They remember every single one of these threads. And so in all these situations that look like guesses, they're not. They've all been a story that has been told. You know, maybe I should one day go back into this match and actually write every storyline that comes down, and you can see in the end that none of these things are guesses, that all of these things are educated guesses. They're weighted, educated guesses. And that is what makes this game really, really hard to play. This is why I honestly think Street Fighter V is one of the hardest Street Fighters to play, because this is what you have to do. And this is why a lot of top players do like playing this game. Because once you realize that that's what this is just threads of educated guesses, it becomes an excellent mind battle with your opponent, and it gets really fun. But when you're at the middle level, you don't have any idea that this is how the game is played. Nothing tells you this is how the game is played. No one is giving you this information, and so it feels like everything is hella random, and you have nothing like an invincible uppercut or an invincible backdash or a parry parry or a roll or something to save your ass in these situations that kind of, you know, reset you back to neutral. It's hard for people to get to this level to play like this, and they have no crutches. And so to get good at Street Fighter V, this is how you have to play. And it's very hard to do. It's very, very difficult to do this. I mean, after watching a lot of Major Boy Mr. Mixer, I am 100% going to be playing Vskill 2 against Shotos, against Ryu. It's just being able to run Nubbing Needle over projectiles and trying to apply that pressure when you get in might be too worth it. Might be too worth it. Right, and that's the thing, Dragon Mash. You play Ryu and Seth and take hella risks because you're not processing the story. You're just thinking, he's probably going to do this time. He's probably going to do this time. But every one of those key moments that you put yourself into in Street Fighter V, if you can keep track of the story being told in that key moment every time it comes up, because, again, one of my things that I talk about in First Attack all the time, fighting games are repeatable. Fighting games are full of repeatable situations over and over and over again. Every situation that you see in fighting games has probably been experienced like thousands of times. And that's where online play is so valuable. The more you play, the more you realize what these situations are. And once you start categorizing, this guy's a nut, this guy's defensive, this guy plays scared, this guy pokes a lot, blah, 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 blah. You start crafting the history. So like I said, Major Boy and Daigo are playing against each other right now. They probably have a history, and that history has led into this. What if you played someone that you've never played before? Well, you categorize them into a certain category, and you play the history of that category. Here's the history of the crazy players I fought. Here's the history of the defensive players I fought. Here's the history of the throw tech guys that I fought. Here's the history of, and you play off of that history instead. So that's something Daigo has talked about. Whenever he plays someone, he immediately tries to categorize them, if he's never played them before, into one of these sets, and now you have a history to base something off of. Generally, people will fall under certain categories, and that happens. Now, you will run into somebody who's just insanely smart that you've never played before, and that you try to put them in a category and you fail, but that probably means they're a top player. And might mean you've probably seen them at a tournament before or something like that. But in any case, that's kind of the whole way that it goes right there. Let's see here. Let's see. We do know what the game's about, but it's tough to set your mind to it. Yes, but Backdash King, even as you say that, I would 100% say that there are a lot of people that don't realize that this is what's happening. And this is also why I've been talking about mental fatigue a lot recently, because as I keep playing Street Fighter V, I've discovered the hardest thing about Street Fighter V is mental fatigue. Is because this game requires you to think so goddamn much in every single one of these situations. If you think of Street Fighter V as KI's combo system, everyone always compliments KI because it's one of the most tiring games when you play, because as you get hit, you can't stop thinking, should I counterbreaker? Should I do this? Should I blah, 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 blah? Well, in Street Fighter V, if you considered when you get knocked down in the corner, you've seen everybody die, like full health to death, right? Well, that's because technically when they knock you down, if you think of it like a giant KI combo, and that you're just trying to find the combo breaker to escape the situation, it's like the same thing, except you're thinking fast, not in a combo, but in these pressure situations. Street Fighter V gets you just as tired when you play this game because you're thinking so goddamn much about all these situations. And it's when your brain starts to get that mental fatigue and you start getting lazy and you start autopiloting your defense and you stop caring about the storylines that have been told and you just don't want to bother thinking about them and everything like that, is where you start to suffer. When I play, I don't have the ability to keep all these storylines in my mind necessarily. I can right now because we're going through this slowly, but if this was happening in real time, I might not be able to do this. But players like NuckleDu, like Punk, like Idom, you don't think that they remember all these stories? They 100% remember all these threads, because they train themselves not to run into this mental fatigue. They've trained themselves not to run at this mental fatigue so they can play sharp and keep all these storylines in mind. So although, yes, you're right, a lot of people do know about this whole thing, Backdash King. One, I do think a majority of the people don't know about it, keeping track of the threads. And two, even the people who do know it don't realize a lot of times when their mental fatigue kicks in and they think they're doing it. That's the worst part about mental fatigue, is you can't tell that you're not thinking anymore. You cannot tell that you're thinking anymore, and you end up dying for that reason, because most of the time when I enter that state, I actually have to go, wait, I'm hitting mental fatigue. I've stopped thinking, and then I can orient myself and start thinking again and start concentrating again, and then I do better. But sometimes you just don't even realize it's happening, and you think you're playing all intelligently and keeping track of threads, but really you're not. It's a weird situation. State of flow is super hard to achieve. Yes. Yeah. So Azul Claro. So basically, you fight people to get information on specific situations for future matches. Yes. 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 I thought it was me getting older and older, but I find some matches more exhausting than others. No, nah. If you, that's why, like, why do you think everybody dies to Bison? Because everything he does is plus, and it's tiring dealing with that. It's tiring dealing with that. Knee plus, Psycho Axe plus, EX Scissor Kick plus, EX Devil's Reverse plus, and you're like, God damn it! I just want to play freaking fighting games, and your brain gets tired. And you stop playing, and then you just start walking into everything Bison does, and that's why everybody hates Bison. Okay, anyways, let's go back to this matchup. Let's see how this keeps going over here. Let's see here. Okay, gets in there. Again, standing medium punch into throw. And yeah, okay, so there you go. Standing heavy punch. He's just doing the meaty to meaty. And he's not canceling it into anything. It's -4, I believe. -4 or 5, but at that range, most likely safe from anything Kage can hit back with. Kage has stubby buttons. So he's just doing the stand heavy punch and not canceling it because he knows canceling it is not safe. So that's the second time we've seen Major Boy just heavy punch raw into nothing. It worked one time, so it was blocked one time, it worked another time, and then it just got blocked again. So he's just not canceling it because he knows it's not a safe situation and doesn't want Daigo to think that he can always cancel. But again, based off of what I'm guessing is their history, he has not done run cancels very much at all. And so something tells me that they have gone through that story so far into it. They're like Count of Monte Cristo, the unedited version, into this storyline, that Major Boy just doesn't want to use it that much. And he is just going to only use it sparingly. Against Tokido, like I said, he just kept spamming it because I think he could tell Tokido didn't understand it. And he took advantage of that situation. Against Daigo, clearly he's not willing to do it as much. So let's keep going. He's in. Okay, here he goes, and he did it again. But look at this. Daigo is still blocking. So back to the storyline over here. Whoops, I forgot to finish this one here. This one was the, oh, that's right, that was the late tech. That was the late tech. So what he's noticed now, what Major Boy has noticed now, is that he could just kind of keep doing this, and Daigo's not challenging. So I think he's just trying to get in here just to see if he can ever get Daigo to try to hit. Maybe he's trying to fake him into thinking he's going to run stop or something, and so he's thinking Daigo is going to jump ahead of the mix-up curve, that Daigo's already thinking, oh, since I've blocked so many of these V-skills, I'm going to hit a button now this time to beat him, right? Or I'm going to EX up, and I don't know, maybe he thinks that, oh no, he's probably thinking Daigo thinks, oh, I've blocked enough of this, so now he's going to run stop. So I'm going to hit a button now. So he's hoping Daigo's going to the next level and going to hit a button. But Daigo is not biting. He says, nope, I'm just going to keep blocking. I'm not going to get baited into this. And you know what's funny? I forgot to type the late tech in there, but I remembered what it was because we're so focusing on the story that it was just in there. It was just in my head. And That's the thing, is like when you keep track of these storylines, you just remember the storyline very well. But let's see what happens here. Post nubbing needle. Nothing. Again, nothing. Major Boy did nothing. Ryu poke. So Ryu basically takes his turn in that situation. So now he has that situation. What's going on? Provisual fight. How's it going? And now back to this again. Jump over. Oh, shimmy. Baited. Baited. There you go. Okay. EX. Got the EX. Again. Oh, see? He shimmied, and that time he went for the throw. You see? Was that a random guess from Daigo? No, he shimmied and got him, and so this time he went for a throw, and he still teched. Again, it's a story. It's a continuing story. That was a different thread. We've reached the 6th thread that we've talked about now. Post jump roundhouse, shimmy, or throw. And here we go, is another storyline, and sure enough, he teched anyway, and so Daigo's going, really? I shimmied you last time, and you teched again? Goodness gracious. So, you know, that's basically what Daigo's thinking right now. But again, another storyline, and I remembered that because that was a key moment. That was a mix-up. It's a moment that sticks out in my head that he shimmied him, and so he went for the throw this time, and it immediately made me think of that previous chapter in it. It might have happened more than once, and I just didn't realize it, but I definitely realized it off of the shimmy. And so now the storyline continues to go, Oop, he just walked into that. Oh no, you're getting hit! Oh, too early. And Daigo again with the crazy wake up EX uppercut. You've got to do it. Oh my god, again! And so now that was the back-to-back crazy. Whoa, no, I clicked the wrong thing. No! Where am I? Shoot, that was the 3rd round here. Okay. Oh, that's the start of the next match? Shoot. Oh, God, where was I? Where was I? I was further than this, I'm pretty sure. I think I was in the 3rd round. Let's see. Do I recognize this situation here? Yes, that was the late tech. Okay, that was the late tech. We saw that before. Okay, so we were in the 3rd round over here. So goes for the throw. I remember seeing all this. Okay, yeah, the jump and the shimmy. Okay, here we go. I remember this. The shimmy. EX uppercut. We saw that. The raw EX uppercut. And now we're going to see the back-to-back Daigo crazy. Whoops, yeah, misses that. Crazy number 1. Now, like I said, if the logic is to do one crazy thing for every 2 logical things you do, doing one crazy thing for every 2 logical things you do becomes the logic. So if you throw in that crazy and your opponent's like, well, there's his crazy now, so now I expect 2 logical things and then a crazy thing, then the crazy thing is to do 2 crazy things in a row. See, this is the hardest part about fighting games, and I've said this in First Attack. There's never a right answer. There's never a right answer. So this time, Daigo's going to do back-to-back crazy, because now doing 2 crazy things to every 2 logical things is now the crazy thing to do, instead of 1 crazy thing, which is 2 logical. So Daigo says, you know what? Crazy! So there we go. He goes crazy again. Man, I love it. Oh boy. Oh, too far away. Couldn't do anything. Lucia's stubby buttons. Got him. Try to juggle and miss. We're in a scramble situation here. Oh, there we go. Did you see that delay walk-up poke? Did you see this delay walk-up poke right here? Last time, stand medium punch in the throw. How many times have we seen Major Boy do that? Like 4 times, and Daigo did 2 crazies in a row. So Major Boy's like, he's not going to EX uppercut crazy again. But he's fallen for my throw like 3 times in a row, 3 or 4 times in a row. So now I'm going to walk up to him, stand in front of his face, make him think I'm going to throw, and then counter hit him with the stand medium punch. And there it was, right there. Crouching light punch, walk up. You see how far he walks up to him? Look how far he walks up to him in this situation. Look at this. Light punch. Walk up, walk up, walk up, walk up. Look, he pushed him a little bit. And there you see Daigo standing up to go for the throw. So perfect timing on his part. Now this is practice and this is knowing your opponent. There's no formula for when to do the timing to beat the throws. Sometimes you will just do this too late and get thrown. Sometimes you'll do this too early and they'll block anyway. This is one of the hardest things to do, is to know how far and how long to walk to bait the opponent into going for the throw. One of the hardest things to do. Even though this isn't a guess, the timing at which Daigo hits a 5-frame throw so that you hit him during the startup is very difficult to accomplish. But again, I keep saying this, Major Boy's timing and reads are amazing. And I really honestly believe when Lucia is in the hands of a player like this, she is super scary. And that's why I actually think Lucia does really well against stronger players than she does against weaker players, because you need to kind of have the storylines being told in order to defeat players like this. When you fight lower level players, sometimes they go crazy and it's really hard to tell. You can't tell what the story is. It's like one of those AI generated stories that just makes no sense, you know, and it's really tough, but it's hilarious anyway. But he should be dead. He should be dead. Yeah, he's dead. There you go. And so Major Boy has taken out both Tokido and Daigo in just this one match video. But the interesting thing about it is, look how different the stories are told here, right? We've had 11 situations for Major Boy versus Tokido. And in many of these situations, they were literally back to back to back to back. Like, he just kept doing it because he realized Tokido was having trouble dealing with this run-stop mix-up. You're seeing that he's having, he could tell Tokido didn't understand the situation properly enough. So he tried it once, thought Tokido learned. Tokido didn't learn. Spent some time to educate Tokido. Tokido got educated, and so now he's taking advantage of Tokido's education by run stopping over here. Then finally goes for this, and then blocks it and EXDPs to win a round, and then once again gets Tokido thinking about it and then stops doing it. You see this big story that's being told off of it, and it was working. So there was no reason for Major Boy to stop going to that story. But against Daigo, it's probably clear that Daigo has known the story already. In fact, let's go to Tokido over here, right? Counter hit combo. This is a win for Major Boy. This is a loss for Major Boy. This is a, actually, that looks weird. I'll do this. This is a loss for Major Boy. Here. This is a win for Major Boy. This is a win for Major Boy. This is a loss for Major Boy. This is a loss for Major Boy. But then here we go. A win, a win, a win, a win, and a win. So what you see here is that even though we have 11 situations, Major Boy actually won 8 out of the 11 situations there. And if Street Fighter V was as guessy and as random as everybody says, this would not have happened. This would not have happened. And so again, Major Boy said, you know what, I can keep going to this story and win over and over and over again. But if we go to Daigo over here, Daigo EXDP'd, okay, then Lucia has done this, gets the counter hit combo, just raw hit him, got a late tech, but technically this one is a split. This one's kind of a split, and Ryu poke and one over here. As you can see, he only won 50% of the situations, which means that, like I said, Daigo clearly understands the situation, and the fact that Major Boy only went for it 6 times compared to 11 times versus Tokido is a pretty telling story here. Is a pretty telling story, and shows that once these mix-ups get into the late phase, yeah, then it really starts being hard to properly read the story. Because Daigo knows the situation well, he can jump ahead and change the story earlier than Tokido was. Tokido was just being educated here as it went. If they played each other today, Tokido would probably not lose this many situations because he will have understood the mix-up situation off of the run cancel. And so it would probably be a little bit more of an even kill. But again, even though it turns out even, does that mean it's random? No, it's because they've had this huge story and they all know the situation now. They all know, like, oh, okay, he did this last time, so he's probably, the last time I played him, he already jumped to the next thing, so I'm going to try to jump ahead. And then Tokido's like, well, last time I played him, I knew that he knew that I knew that he knew that I was going to do this, then so I'm going to do this so that he knew that I knew that he knew, you know, so like, it's never truly a guess. It's always a story that never has an ending, that people are going to tell forever and ever and ever. So, you know, yeah, and not even much of a split because he did get out of that corner on this late tech situation here. So not really a split, but the problem is that, you know, he was in a negative situation and he had to deal with Daigo's mix-up, and he wasn't confident enough to apply his own mix-up. He was just being very defensive there. He got out of the corner, so definitely a little bit in his favor, not in the same way as a lot of the other things in which he can continue the pressure, or he got a combo, right? So if you guys watch First Attack and look at my flow chart, it was neutral leads to advantage, leads to advantage pressure, leads to mix-up, leads to combo. Right? And so in that situation there, he did not get to keep himself in stage 2, which was pressure. He did not get to apply a mix-up in stage 3, or he did not get a combo in stage 4. He's back to neutral. So it is kind of an even situation. Yes, he got out of the corner, but he had to return to the neutral situation. So that's why I'm going to count it as a split more than anything. So there you go. I don't know what you mean by that, Dragon Scoop. Seed my torrents? I don't know. Has Major Boy and Sako played each other? They may have a match where they've actually played each other. If I go back over here, I've watched this one. I've also watched this one where he fought against John Takeuchi, Sagat, and Uncle Rubber's Chun-Li. He's fought against Duke Gill over here. Duke Gill, Major Boy versus Gachikun. I haven't watched all. I did watch the Abigail match per request by Mr. Mixer. I did watch this match, but honestly, Abigail should have played the tire because the tire is hella scary for Lucia. He's fought against Naomin Sakura. I've watched this match before. I've watched a lot of these matches here already, but I haven't watched them all yet. So like I said, I haven't watched this one versus Duke Gill. I haven't watched this one versus Gachikun. So I don't have, I haven't had a chance to watch them. Maybe I'll watch them live. Maybe I'll do a match analysis breakdown of one of these matches live, and I'll actually write every thread that comes down one by one by one by one, and you can kind of see how that plays out. So you guys can have an even better understanding of exactly how this whole thing works. Capture. Where's my window capture? Right here? Yeah, there we go. So you'll have a better idea in here. Major Boy definitely gave me a lot of, not necessarily insight into my own play. What I liked about watching Major Boy play, though, is that it kind of verified a lot of things that I've believed about Lucia. The most educational thing about it, Sigma Nuts, Cat Butts, Decadalus. And what it did do, however, hey, shout out to Nihongo Gamer for the 65 raid here. Thank you guys for tuning in. Unfortunately, I'm actually towards the end of my stream already, but this, in my opinion, was probably one of the most informative Street Fighter V streams that I've ever done, and maybe one of the most informative streams for Street Fighter V ever done. I'm just going to do that. Look, I very rarely brag about things. I've wanted to do something like this for a very long time. But after I watched Major Boy and I watched that Vskill 2 situation, I was like, these are the perfect matches to teach the Street Fighter RPS. And I really honestly feel like this has been a really, really very eye-opening stream for a lot of people who play Street Fighter V. I'm going to upload this to YouTube. It is towards the end of this. If you are coming from Nihongo Gamer and want to watch this, definitely jump back into the archives and check this out. I'll get this up on YouTube as quickly as I can. Probably raw, unedited, and it is 2 hours long. It's a long watch, but like I said, I feel like that this is a really, really valuable stream for people to watch and for people to really grasp the whole entire thing. So don't worry, Uneven Pictures. I will definitely be throwing it up there at one point in time. But again, if you guys do enjoy this kind of content, if you want me to keep doing this, I can just keep watching Street Fighter V videos, Grand Blue videos, all sorts of things, and keep track of these key moment threads of just one match. You see this, I did 2 matches and it took me 2 hours. So I can do 1 match for like an hour. If you guys want me to keep doing stuff like this and you think that this is really valuable, I will definitely keep doing this. And I know, again, like I said, even though the viewership of Twitch is a lot higher and the highest that it's ever been, I do know that the subs are kind of low right now, but that's because we're all hurting right now. I totally get that. But if you would subscribe, you know, I appreciate that very much. If you guys are willing to donate, gift sub as well. If you've already subscribed, you can also gift sub as well. All those things are very appreciative. I was on my way to about 500 followers before the quarantine hit. And then it dropped all the way back down to about, as you can see, 170. I'm at 174 subscribers right now. This thing doesn't update itself very well. So if you guys want to support, and now I think, oh dang, actually now I'm up to 177 subs now, right? Dang, check this out. Shout outs to Uneven Pictures for the gift subs. Appreciate that. I'm sorry, I don't appreciate that. Actually, I mean Sigma Nuts Cat Butts. Sigma Nuts Cat Butts. There you go. Sigma Nuts Cat Butts to Uneven Pictures, to Zygon, to Megafish 2x0, and Sigma Nuts Cat Butts to Saint Cola as well. Thank you guys for watching. Hey, Sigma Nuts Cat Butts to Larry J for the subscription as well. Appreciate it very much. But yeah, this is a very important way of understanding fighting games, of understanding the key moments and telling the storylines to them. And I really want to do an educational video solely on the Street Fighter RPS to understand that properly. So I'll probably just do that one of these days and try to get that out on YouTube as well. But again, I will be streaming again later on today. In fact, in about 2 hours, I'll be streaming again. That'll be the Generation Spacing podcast that I have with Ebonic Plague and Tuboware, where we talk about all sorts of crazy things. You don't want to miss that. We're going to find out if Tuboware actually subscribed to Nikki FGC's OnlyFans, you know, one of the best KI players in the world. You'll find out if he's actually subscribed to Nikki's OnlyFans or not, because he kept debating it last time, and so should be fun to find out what's happening. None of us knows. He's saving the reveal for the stream tonight, but we just talk about all sorts of crazy things, so you definitely want to check that out. When's Tetris? Yeah, I should get back into Tetris. I should start doing some Tetris Grandmaster stuff. I mean, with this quarantine right now, it's probably the perfect time. By the way, I do have an editor now, and he's doing a lot of work for me, so he's helping me a lot. I should be trying to get back to nighttime streams a lot more often because he's handling a lot of the work for me now. The way that I have it is that my Patreon is where I'm going to be paying him from. I haven't been keeping up with my Patreon. I've been doing nothing with the Patreon. But if you do want to have an alternate means by supporting the Patreon, is a good way to do that. So the Patreon money goes to my editor now. So if you want to, you know, help me cover my editor and help me make sure that it's still worth his time to keep doing this, any subs to the Patreon are good. If you guys have any good ideas for Patreon rewards, like I came up with goofy things like sound clips and like commentating random videos. No one cared. No one wanted these things. Let me know what you'd like to see as a Patreon reward and I can go ahead and do that. But obviously it's weird because gift subs, donations, subs, Patreon, bits. There's like 700 different ways to donate to somebody and it's confusing which way to go, and I totally understand that. So, like I said, if you're already supporting me, thank you very much. But if you want to specifically help support my editor, that is a good place to do for Patreon that way. So, yep, Tetris Championships. Damn straight, dude. Dude, Tetris is amazing, dude. Tetris is amazing. In any case, thanks guys for hanging out and watching. Thank you, Larry J. You said this is a very helpful stream. Thank you very much. Hope it was educational for a lot of people. I'll be getting this on YouTube very soon. And I'll try to keep doing more match analysis like this for Street Fighter V, for Grand Blue, because those two games in particular end up in a lot of situations where there are key moments to be told. So, yeah, one of the best ways to learn how to play Street Fighter V is to get yourself out of habits. I have habits. Low jab, walk up, throw is a habit of mine. And so I get people teching me a lot. I need to learn to shimmy a little. I always have to consciously be aware that I've done something many times in a row before I realize it's a story that I've been telling the same way over and over and over again, so everybody knows the ending of my story. So it always takes me a few moments before I can realize and remember all the different threads. That's why I have trouble winning a lot of the times when I play online, because I don't recognize some of these threads. The top players out there recognize that. I just retweeted a video of Shine, who basically jumped over and punished a fireball, and he was like, yeah, this guy has a fireball pattern. Walk forward, fireball. And the Ryu walked forward and then threw a fireball, and he jumped over and punished it. He was like, yo, I called it. And again, that was a thread that Shine spotted. Was literally Ryu walked forward, threw a fireball was a thread that he spotted. There's no way I would have caught that thread. I'm not good enough for that. And so, you know, that's how strong players work. Every situation turns into a key moment that they can turn into a thread. Even something as innocuous as Ryu taking a tiny step and then throwing a fireball. Shine caught that storyline and was able to take advantage of it. To get good at fighting games, you need to break your own patterns and start realizing all these key moments and all these patterns from people. It's very, very hard to do. But again, that's why sometimes when you play somebody, you may have picked up on their patterns and you don't realize it, and you put them in the corner and you're like, yo, he's waking up with buttons. And you hit him, and then I'm going to throw him this time. You throw him, now I'm going to shimmy him. And he whiffs and shimmies, and you throw, and somehow you feel like you're playing the guy like a puppet. And that's the reason why, is because you've picked up on these patterns. You've started to understand storytelling. Your opponent doesn't understand storytelling. So you're baiting them with every line of your story. They're just hanging at the edge of their seat, wondering what's next. And they're just lapping up the whole entire thing, and you're beating them up. And the first time you get that experience, the first time you get the experience of, yes, I'm doing it this sequence because I'm telling a story and I was right 5 times in a row, the first time that happens to you is the first time you will understand the magic of fighting games. The first time you land that, the first time you feel like you're playing your opponent like a puppet and you know everything that they're going to do, and you blow them up for it, and you know they're a thinking opponent, like, that is where the magic comes in. That is when you play fighting games, you're just going to be like, this is what it is. This is what makes people love fighting it. This is the greatest thing ever. Like, once that happens, that is such a wonderful feeling. And when you play against another opponent, even if you lose, and you realize the stories are being told and the two of you are trying to cut to the next chapter before you even had a chance to tell this part, and you play this matchup against another really smart player, and it's this crazy battle of wits on every single key moment and everything like that, and even when you lose, you come away from that match like, damn, that was a good match. Good shit, man. Like, that is when you come away with that feeling. That is where you get the joy of fighting games. That is one of the times where fighting games really clicks and starts to make sense, and fighting games just transcend that next level of adjustment and such. So there you go. That is basically fighting games right there, especially in Street Fighter V. So thanks guys for watching this. Thanks guys for hanging out here a little bit. I am gonna feed some cats right now.